What's up, y'all? This is Rom coming back at you with yet another smartphone couch video. Always got support from players, pushback from lames. Yeah, and I just used that title to get y'all attention. Got y'all attention. Because I was thinking about that this morning and I actually had a conversation. I did a panel on Facebook with this couple of sisters and his brother, and a couple weeks ago, and we were talking after the show, and the young man pointed that out to me, brother Nick. So shout you out, man, and you had a very good point because the guys who support me are generally in that player range. It don't mean they literal players, though many are. They could just be men in successful relationships. Always got their support. The guys people call Pookie and Ray Ray, those street players, always supported me. Actual pimps. I'm serious, actual pimps who've seen my stuff supported me. Ministers actually support me, I still remember when I called, I was talking with an ex-pimp, and I said, ministers are pimps in the pulpit. And the pimp looked at me and said, don't insult pimps like that. you know? But like womanizers, male exotic dancers, players, dudes people call F-boys, Chads and Tyrones, always supported my stuff. In fact, when my book Nice Guys and Players first came out, I honestly thought that it'd be the players who would push back. Honestly, I thought they would push back. They were the ones buying it. It'd be the so-called nice guys, the guys I actually wrote the book for, who would actually who would fight it. Seriously, if it was a nice guy coming, I'd be like, man. Because I remember I used to do book signings, selling my book with my co-parent, right? And she would see the guy, she'd say, he gonna buy it. He gonna be a problem. Never fail. And it was always a player type. I ain't even had to hard sell them. They get the book, boom. Kept it moving. I even had some who was selling the books for me. So, 1,001 jobs, yeah. Did some brief distribution stuff, wholesale stuff. For those in the publishing industry, just a distributor. I was a distro. But I found that interesting. But the other guys, they would just fight against it totally. Totally. Some even in my face. They was like, I was at a seminar one time, and this guy who was having trouble getting women said he didn't agree with anything in the book, right? And then I remember another seminar. I wasn't even on the panel or anything for this live seminar. I'm sitting next to this woman. He's checking out. She all up into me. So it was like, maybe you should have picked up my book, dude, or maybe you should actually apply the information. But you know what? And I get that to this day. I get this to the day. Like I'll say something, and the dudes who are successful with women, they like agree. Because if you really look at most of my comments, most of the guys who comment, now I'm sure there's some guys who learn something new because they open for it. But I'll point out something about them in a few minutes. But most of the guys, they just co-sign. Now, I'm not telling them anything new. I'm just co-signing. Like Brother Nick pointed out, it was like, I'm just like verifying what they've been experiencing and everything, right? So it's just like, okay, yeah. But I notice I always get guys pushing back. Or they thinking or something. And I notice they don't really explain it, or they try to, but they don't realize something. If you've been around guys who getting women, who really getting women, and you've been around guys who ain't getting women, you can recognize even in how they articulate their argument. I can recognize right away who's doing what. Because you've been around them. Because dudes who getting women on the regular, dudes who are truly select, they speak a certain way. They speak a certain way. They talk a certain way. Meanwhile, the guys who are having problems, it's going to show at some point in their conversation. even how they articulate, even how they write something. And I ain't gonna give you the secret because I know somebody hear it and then they'll come on and try to act like they doing some stuff. But there's some definite tells. There's some definite tells. Like if you playing poker or something, you can pretty much read your opponent. So, but I was thinking about that because it was just so many things. Like when I talk about money, and you get some guys, they still want to fight. Like, oh, you gotta have money, Dude, I told you, I lost count of how many women I got with. I ain't spend anything, including some. I ain't even had to get in my car and go see them. So some dudes would be trying to say, well, you gotta drive over there. I ain't had to do that. I just sit in my place, they come over. You know? Shoot, one woman I got with, I remember when I was living in this apartment building, I didn't even take her out. She just came knocking on my door 11 o'clock at night. Now I take that back. She called first. I ain't spent one penny on her. One penny. And that was a normal thing. Let's talk about that for a second. That's a major thing because I did a video talking about the dangers of being a trick yesterday. And, I had one dude came on there and say, well, you still got that body game and mouthpiece to trick. If you got a body game and mouthpiece, they're going to trick on you. But, some guys still trying to justify it and everything. But, dude, my thing is this and why I talk about it. Like the money piece. It was like, look, if a woman like you, she just like you. You don't have to lead with your wallet. If she feeling you, she going to get with you. You think these women who cheating on a guy, who probably got money with a guy who don't money. I mean, what's she doing? She cheating. She putting her marriage, maybe her livelihood, access to her family in danger. Seriously, she could lose all of that. Is she doing it for the D? She doing it for the D. That's another thing too. That's another thing. I mean, just getting into that. And hold on for a second. Yeah, sorry about that. Had to do something real quick. But yeah, I'm working on editing some stuff. It's running in the background, all of that. But real quick though, I was talking about, women cheating for the D and everything. A lot of guys have limited sexual experience, so they don't understand a woman's sexual nature. And especially if you paying for the shit. Like I said yesterday. Those women got a disdain for a man. And they'll fake along. But that's totally different from actually getting with a woman sexually and how they respond and understanding a woman's sexual needs and really understanding her sexual signals. Because that's why I've said at the Game Kings 2 seminar, I told a couple guys, if you can get with one woman, you can get with 100. Because the key is understanding if you get with enough women, especially. If one, that's all you really need is one, and then learn from that. Just repeat it. That's simple game for you. Just repeat whatever you did to get to that one, as long as you didn't pay, right? But, if you understand a woman's sexual nature and you comfortable with it, you ain't judging it and all of that, you good to go. A lot of guys ain't comfortable, but, oh, yeah. A lot of guys ain't comfortable with their own sexual nature. And that's a big thing. Because if you really look at everything I'm telling you how to turn on a woman sexually. And, some guys will have a problem with that. Okay, be a virgin then, stay off the motherfucking channel. But let's be real on something. There's a lot of problems out here, potentially political problems, with men who ain't getting none. So the shit's important. And let's be real, guys watching these channels and stuff are pissed off because they ain't getting no goddamn pussy. So it's important. Don't be tripping. But I said I was going to cover something about some of the guys who be, they on the channel and they ain't quite on that, successful level, that select level, alpha level, dominant, whatever term, Chad or Tyrone. They ain't bad boys or anything like that. I'm going to submit this about them. They got the potential. There's a lot of guys out there, I would say, I would call them sub good bars, which means it's in them, but they have to bring it out. In fact, I've had some clients who were there, and I just brought it out of them, if they have it. But the important thing is they got to be willing to listen and just have the perspective. There's been many dudes, I just tell them a few things, they tweak a few things, and boom. Because here's the thing, some guys say, well, they should just take me as I am. Is it working? Is it working? See, what I'm saying is working. See, that's another thing too. That's the one thing. I haven't had anybody, I've yet to have somebody come back. It amazes me. It amazes me. I've yet to have somebody come back, say they applied everything I said applied, deeper than what I'm talking about here. I just give y'all a portion, a tiny portion of it. Like body game is just the base. And even what I have on my on-demand videos, on my Rom TV videos, on my Patreon, that's a little bit more, but still not everything. Because the reason why, I'm just giving you enough so you'll go out and develop your own style. You know? But see, some guys don't want to do that. Some guys don't want to do that. But the thing is, the guys who've done it, they've won. Seriously, I get testimonies damn near every day. Like literally. I get guys hitting me up, like on IG, sending me emails, everything. Talking about what I'm saying works. And then, of course, I already got the guys co-signing me. Because like I always say, man, I've especially never had actual players. Somebody never read my book to hear what I say, he's all right. In fact, I've had more than a few men. Probably a few scores of men will say, you know what? They knew a player, they showed them my stuff, and the guys co-signed. You know? So this ain't about me necessarily, but a lot of guys out here suffering and they fighting against stuff. But they don't have the experience in everything. They'll fight or they'll say, oh nah, that's crazy. Like I remember I did that video saying that very attractive women tend, notice I use the word tend, have low counts. Now some people push back, nah, they got all these guys going in their inboxes, all these guys checking them out. Women can get off just on attention. Seriously, women can get off just on attention. They don't need a lot of guy penetrating. Like even if you go to a club and you get that woman dressed all hot and everything, she might not be the one who's going to fuck afterwards. She just wants the attention. A lot of women get off on that, being very, very attractive, fixed up, getting the attention, then go home. They chill. They don't need to. And plus, the thing was, when I was talking about what very attractive women do, I'm speaking from experience. There ain't no like speculation and shit. See, one of the problem a lot of guys got out here, they projecting their own shit. But if anybody try to, they say, nah, Rom, you don't know. Do you know me personally? You hang out with me? You walking around me? Seriously. If you do, okay, tell me where I was on October 27th, 1995. On March 17th, 1998. On February 12th, 2007. Tell me what I was doing at when I was at the Game King seminar, when I wasn't with the rest of the fellas and everything. What was I doing? Do you know me personally? See, don't project. See, that's a problem with a lot of lame dudes out here. They projecting their own shit. And then if you ask them, okay, what's your personal experience to even like say that? They can't go for anything. They might go for a study or some shit, right? And I'm like, I've said before, you gotta take studies with a grain of salt. We used to work in market research too. And even remember back in the day, I would take some surveys just to make money. And I knew some people, I knew some guys, they would do all those surveys and shit and tell them what they want to hear just to get that free food. I knew a guy like that. He was slick. He would go to hotels like they having conferences and stuff. You know how they have conferences? He would go in, he'd throw on like a suit and jacket, and the dude was just one step above homeless. But the way he could fit in anywhere. He could talk about anything. I actually seen him in action. I was like, damn, that's incredible. He said he went to a Japanese conference and shit. And this a brother went to a Japanese conference and fit right in. But my point is, you gotta take that with a grain of salt. But life experience though, because like I said, like okay, like if you doubt anything I say, and if you know an actual player, just show them my shit. And something else too. If you have any doubt about how women may see me, show my videos to any women friends you got. Show it to your mom, show it to your sisters, and just ask their opinion. And I ain't saying they all gonna agree with me, but they're gonna give you their view. You know? And they don't need to agree with everything I'm saying. Because nobody's gonna agree 100%. Nobody's gonna agree. Because even the players that supported my stuff, they ain't 100% on what I say. They just gonna have a general agreement. And the reason why it's never gonna be 100%, everybody's an individual. And everybody ultimately, even the players, got their own styles. You know? Like, I'm known for body game, but, another player might say, yeah, general, but, more mouthpiece. Which, actually, if you listen to me, I tell you, have that conversation. But my point is this, though. I mean, getting back to the whole title of the thing. And it's kind of funny. And, it's interesting because, every now and then I get somebody say, hey, Rom, you should have 1 million subs. You should have more subs. That's why I say my shit's for the wolves, man. Everybody just ain't going to get what I'm saying, and I'm actually good with that. That's why I don't never ask anybody to subscribe. Notice that. I never ask anybody to subscribe. And never say anything. Most I do, if I reach a certain milestone, I'll just say thank you and then keep it going. And and I'm going to tell you what. To me, it's a shame because if you want to know something, ask people who are doing it. Ask people who are doing it. Or at least check it out. At least investigate. In fact, what I always say with my stuff, just investigate it. That's it. And I've said that constantly. Don't follow it blindly. Go see, because one, you need to go out and see how it works for you. Because everybody's different. Okay, like body game, for example. Everybody can't be like that brolic dude or super cut or anything. But figure out how it works, because women like different bodies. That's why I talk about tribes. Let me get into that for a second. One of the things I've seen, just over the decades, everybody gonna have some women that like them. The only issue should be, do you like them back? That's it. That's it. If you can figure out just that much, you could be somebody who's generally non-select to most women. Like if you go in a room full of 100 women, 95 of them be like, ugh, but then 5 of them all up in your face. There's still more, five options, dude. And let me see, a lot of guys will say, well, they'll be unattractive or something. Well, not always. Not always. They may not be supermodel of the world, but as I've said, there's only a few of them anyway. Realistically, you need to be realistic any damn way about where you at. And plus, some of those women who don't look like supermodel of the world, they got that clink. And they also gonna make you a plate. So don't push them away right away. And plus, most women can fix up about 2 points anyway. Good makeup. Seriously, I've seen that constantly. What we call them, adjustables. Shit, as long as they're adjustable, that's all you really need. And for those dudes worried about other men trying to holler at them, an adjustable is actually good, because then when she fixed up, she with you. She with you. She out with you. Like say she a 5, but she can adjust to a 7. When she a 5, a lot of guys might not pay attention to her. Right? So you don't have to worry as much. And then when she a 7, shoot, that's above average. You walking out, she fix up to that 7, you walking out with it. You like, yeah, you can have one hand on her butt, the other hand on your dick. Yeah, peep the game. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's something else. I was going to cover it real quick, but it's something I got to make clear. I might talk about it tomorrow. I got some stuff to do tomorrow. So maybe next week. I don't know. There's so much, I'll probably get to it. Good, but there's so much. But, I just wanted to share that because it's the most interesting thing. That's why I say this is the channel for the wolves. This for the better ones. Everybody else. Because I already told you before, one thing I don't tolerate, dudes with a loser attitude. Seriously. That's why I have no problems blocking and deleting. And I'll do it. This is a dojo. You don't go into a dojo, right? Shout out that young brother, Taekwondo. Because he let you know his shit's a dojo. But this is a dojo, though. You know, you don't go into Shotokan dojo doing Chinese boxing. Or talking about you going to do Kung Fu or Taekwondo. You know, you don't do that. You don't do that. I'm presenting a style. I'm presenting a certain way. You either accept it or you don't. If you ain't down for it, okay. Move on. Everybody got to use different. Everybody got to find their style. If this ain't your style, what I'm presenting, cool. But all the players and stuff accept it. So anyway, though, and I'm gonna be honest, even doing this video about that, because that's something I had to accept. Because I was like, you know what? I just want to deal with the guys who at least open to bringing out their best. So, but just wanted to share that because y'all know y'all looking for something. I know y'all looking for me being in a car like this and everything, driving and everything. But after the seminar this past weekend, I got to catch up. And I got a lot of stuff. Plus my sons, they on their spring breaks and, you know, so spending a little bit more time with them. So I got to do all the work quick, you know, do something with my sons. Yeah. Because ultimately I'm a family man. Anyway, that's all I got for now, y'all. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.